Castle Rock International is the Northwest premier real estate agency for large acreage properties, farms and ranch land, lodging and resorts, and other distinctive commercial real estate. Professional, knowledgeable, and discreet, Castle Rock International has the listings and the buyers you have been looking for. Contact John McNamara at Castle Rock International today, or visit their website for more information on this award-winning company.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese blintz, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills.
Back at it here this Monday. May be the first day of the work week, but it's right smack dab in the middle of the month. Middle of May is May 15th, 2023. I am Dan Kuntz. Although the weather's going to feel more like the middle of July than May, a very rare spring heat wave is upon us. Kind of began on Friday and it kicked into high gear over the weekend. 87 on Saturday, 86 yesterday, but we're already at 63. Yesterday at this time, Sunday morning, it was at 58 degrees, so we're already 5 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago, and that means we're going to be into the lower 90s, we think, today, and things are going to be a little unsettled. Occasional pop-up thunderstorm, and not the not a fast-moving kind, but the slow-moving, logy kind of thunderstorms cannot be ruled out, especially later on in the week. Your very warm forecast is coming up, and we'll take a quick look at the area rivers and streams who are starting to run high again and fast. We'll have those details for you. Plus news, sports, as you know by now, Kraken forced a Game 7 against Dallas. They did that on Saturday, and they'll play tonight in Dallas. And if they move on, it's off to the semifinals, I guess, if you want to call it that, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Mariners didn't quite sweep Detroit. They're in Boston today, and all the other prep stuff that you need to know about as well. And today begins filing week for all of you people out there who might be interested in running for local offices, and there are a lot of them up for election this year all over North Central Washington. We sat down with Thad Duvall, Douglas County Auditor, and Skip Moore, Chelan County Auditor, to let you know about everything you need to know as filing week begins this week, and it wraps up on Friday afternoon. So if you're ready to throw your hat into the proverbial ring, what you need to know, we'll learn from Skip and Thad in the back half of the program, and here we go with our tour. Obviously, the Wenatchee Heights camera always begins our festivities. We're past the 15-hour mark now in daylight. We're like 15 hours and 6 minutes. I didn't do the exact math this morning. I apologize for that. I was too busy doing a few other things weather-wise, but now the days are getting long indeed, and it's only the middle of May. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from our Heights camera. Still looking pretty green, but we're going to brown out as the week progresses with this big-time snowmelt. Basically, the melting snow at about 4,000 feet. We're going to see some of the peaks that still have snow on it. That snow will be dissipating rapidly throughout the course of this very warm week. In fact, let's check up Lake Wenatchee. They still have a little bit of light snow on Dirty Face, on the backside of Dirty Face, and you can see way up in the hills surrounding the Lake Wenatchee area, still snow. That's going to melt. It's going to melt, and it's going to go into the lakes, which will then go into the rivers and streams, and they are going to run high and cold all week long. The only one that might be close to flood level is the Medhow River at Pateros, and we'll show you that in just a second or two. Let's check out the Rock Island camera. Beautiful view there, and again, still way up on top of Mission Ridge. They lost a lot of snow over the last 3.5 days or so up in Mission Ridge, and that will continue to happen. Normally they would have little patches of snow on the north faces of Mission Ridge right into June, but I don't think it's going to happen this year with this abnormally warm heat wave for this time of the year. Our normal high is about 72 or 73. We're going to be 15, 20 degrees past that all this week. Good morning to Rock Island. And finally, Badger Mountain is going to give us a gorgeous view of the Wenatchee Valley. Way off in the distance, as you can see, the foothills of the Cascades still have snow on the top, and basically about 4,300 feet and above that, especially on north-facing slopes, there is still snow, and it is going to melt. So a lot of the rivers across our area will experience serious flows through the upcoming week. So, and if you factor in the occasional thunderstorm, that ain't good. Here's this morning's measurements at 4:30 as I took them. I didn't take them. Somebody else does. This is the Wenatchee River at Monitor. As you can see, it bottomed out on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It got down there pretty good. It was up high, of course, for a while around Apple Blossom, and now it's climbing right back up again. It's going to continue that upward climb, the Wenatchee River at Monitor, all this week. So it's going to start filling up the banks again after dropping down a good 3-4 feet over the course of about 10 days. Now it's heading back up in the other direction. The Aniat River at Aniat, same deal. Excuse me, bottomed out Wednesday into Thursday, and now with the warm and the snow melt, it's heading right back up again. It's a little over 10 feet in depth up there. So, but the one we're really keeping an eye on is the Medhow River, where it flows through Pateros into the Columbia. That's going to get close to bankful. Bankful is about 10 feet right now. You can see where it's at right now, and that's the projection for where it is going to be. So you folks who live in the Pateros area, you can start seeing some pretty high water Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday, and that's the predicted height of how the Medhow River will go near Pateros. So we'll keep a close eye on that, and a lot of it depends exactly on how fast the snow is going to melt, and I think it's going to melt pretty darn fast. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. 93 today, our record high 91. That was set back in 1973 and again in 2012. We'll certainly be in the lower 90s. Whether we'll get to 93 or not, hard to say. Again, it's pretty mild to start the morning. It's warmer today than it was Sunday morning at this time. Possibility of a stray thunderstorm. 66 for the overnight low. We do it again on Tuesday. Chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, especially in the late afternoon, early evening hours, is about 30%. We'll have a high of 93, so we'll see a few more clouds tomorrow, and then just sunny and hot. And the next chance of maybe a thunderstorm is going to be Thursday into Thursday night. But again, very, very warm for this time of the year, at least 20 degrees above our normal high temperature, with the opportunity to break some record highs, certainly Wednesday and again on Friday and Saturday. It's definitely going to be very warm for this time of the year. All right, that's your forecast. It's 6 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we'll have the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
I had a seizure in the middle of the night, and they rushed me to the hospital and decided to induce labor to try to get the baby out. The outpouring of love and support I got from Confluence Health. My coworkers coming to the ICU to be with me. For me, it's the work family. It's just incredible to have support no matter what I'm going through in my personal life, my own health.
It's camping season and nobody cares more than Click It RV, giving huge discounts on all inventory, like a 2022 Coachman Clipper discounted over $11,000, or a 2022 Forest River Riverstone fifth wheel discounted over $60,000. And you heard it right. There's no payments till August, huge discounts, and a lifetime warranty. And for a limited time, Click It RV has teamed up with the banks to offer an exclusive 4.99% interest. So don't miss the Click It RV Want to See You Camping event going on now on Frontage Road.
A rather balmy 63 degrees here in the big city. Lower 90s today, maybe a stray thunderstorm today and tomorrow. It'll be in the 90s all week long and into the weekend. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Douglas County prosecutors have amended the charges against two suspects involved in last month's fatal shooting of Elias Mora Ontiveros. Alleged gunman, 31-year-old Eric Ferreras Reyes, is still charged with one count of second-degree murder and second-degree unlawful possession of a firearm. But according to court documents, Douglas County prosecutors said current evidence does not support a separate initial charge of second-degree attempted murder against the woman with Ontiveros at the time of the shooting, and has instead charged Farias with second-degree assault. The second suspect, Juan Carlos Vasquez, was initially charged with second-degree murder and accomplice to second-degree attempted murder, but those charges have since been reduced to first-degree rendering criminal assistance. 24-year-old Sabrina McCubbin, who was arrested alongside Farias last month in a police raid in downtown Wenatchee, no longer faces criminal charges. A fundraiser for that Kashmir River rafter who died earlier this month is going to be held This weekend, Mike Spurrell and 6 others were in the Wenatchee River back on May 4th when their craft overturned, spilled into the water. Spurrell's cause of death was attributed to underlying health issues that were exacerbated by the situation of being ejected from the raft, according to Chelan County Coroner Wayne Harris. The fundraiser event will feature live music and a silent auction with goods donated by local businesses and owners. It'll be held at the 9th Street Lodge in downtown Leavenworth this Saturday, May 20th from 5 to 9 p.m. And Sir Wenatchee Valley's Tom Nees was at Wenatchee's City Council meeting on Thursday night, and he presented what they're calling Common Ground Community Housing Trust. Sir Wenatchee Valley is working to address the area's housing crisis, and through developing a community housing trust aims to provide affordable home ownership opportunities within the Eastmont and Wenatchee school district boundaries. At the meeting, Nees presented data on housing needs with those boundaries and what the goals of the organization are, including acquiring, owning, and stewardship of the land permanently. Doing so then creates a dual ownership opportunity between an individual and the community land trust. So the individual would own the home, the land trust would own the land, and a ground leased sale makes the housing permanently affordable. Nees answered how community members can meet the criteria for acceptance into one of these homes and how to earn equity.
These homes that we're building right now are going to have the window of 65 to 80% of area median income. That's the window that we're looking at. So that's number one criteria, is that your household income needs to be verified and documented at between 65 and 80% of our area median income. Then there are additional criteria that actually one of our work groups that Linda sits on is our eligibility criteria group. So we're going to look at, in the process of developing this, what's the residential standard? Do they have to have lived here for a certain amount of time? That's another standard that you can put in play. And so we are in development of what those standards are, but there will be a very clear list of that criteria. And then the process for application, I can tell you that up in Chelan, they had over 100 applications for 5 units. We know that we're going to have that here, that's going to be more. And so what we're going to do with our eligibility team and other CLTs in the area is to create a prioritized list of what we're looking for, and then it will be a lottery draw is how we will select those. And so that's how we're going to go through the process of selecting, and then families will remain on that list for a period of time as inventory continues to become available and can re-enter into the draw. The ability to earn equity, of course, is 2 ways. One is when you pay rent, you're earning no equity. When you're paying a mortgage, you're paying down your principal every month, a certain portion of that. The other way is that we have a 1.5% fixed rate formula to be able to put in, and so when they written into the master ground leases that they are earning 1.5% per year that they're in the home. They're not restricted by the amount of time that they can be there, but there is, if they sell after 5 to 7 years, then that 1.5% is part of the equity that comes back in as well as pay down.
That's what look at what's making news here on this Monday, the 15th day of May. The news will come your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10, 5, 6, and 10 on television. It'll be up and running on our YouTube page, our homepage, and on our Facebook page right at 5 o'clock each weekday. And if you have a news tip, get a hold of us. That's how we find out about it. You can email us, you can call us, you can write us a letter, you can go to our homepage, or you can drop us a note via Facebook. When we come back, busy weekend in sports. We'll start out with the Kraken, talk a little Mariners, and lots of preps too. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
14 minutes after the hour, the Kraken staved off elimination on Saturday afternoon. Nice victory over Dallas, 6-3. There will be a Game 7. Yanni Gourde started the scoring for Seattle in the first period, and the Kraken fed off that frenzied crowd at Climate Pledge Arena to win Game 6.
Heel of the stick of Domi. Tolvanen drops for Gourde. Gourde out in front. Gourde shoots. The rebound. Score! Yanni Gourde strikes first. Seattle on the board. Continuing to add to what has been a tremendous postseason as Domi brings it back across. Here is Sagan. That shot. Score! Marchment the answer. On the rush. Dallas the equalizer just like that. The puck dug free. Played up high to Dunn. On the move. There's a shot. Pass in front. Flip score! Eberle! Tolvanen got it to the net. Eberle with patience to the backhand. A power play goal for the Kraken. They've got the lead back. The shot forward still tilted Seattle's way. Right down Broadway. Shot score! Bjorkstrand sets up Tolvanen. On the rush. The Kraken strike again. The first three-point game of his playoff career. Here's Cartier moving in. That shot. Score! The rookie does it again. His third of the postseason. Robertson back to the point. Heiskanen, wrist shot. Score! An answer! Dallas strikes on the power play. High slot Dellandrea blocked by Soucy. And he's slow to get up. Eberle. Beniers on his left. To Beniers. Shoots. Score! There's a shot. Got it on net. Score! An answer! Domi across the line. Centers one for Suter. Eberle eyes the empty net. Eberle scores!
They walk out of here with a win in Game 6 and a chance to win in Game 7.
Both teams traveled back to Dallas yesterday. Game 7 is tonight. Coach Dave Haxtell said the key to success for tonight, get out with lots of energy.
You know, we were at the pace and the execution that we wanted to be last night. Yet, you know, you look at how close that hockey game was. You know, one or two plays can change a hockey game. We got a great save from Gruby 10 seconds into that hockey game off a bounce of a puck. You know, Dallas hit a couple of posts early in the third period you know, those breaks went our way. Those plays went our way when you look at Gruby's big save early in that hockey game. So, you know, we'll be ready to go. Both teams will be ready to play. You know, and it's going to be a matter, you know, of you know, who can come up with that game-changing play at the right time.
Game 7 tonight, 5 o'clock on ESPN. The Mariners won 2 of 3 in Detroit over the weekend, but they lost, trying to get the sweep yesterday, 5-3. Seattle had the early lead, but for one of the first times this season, the bullpen faltered down the stretch. And it looked like we were going to pull it out.
Protest at all. France moves to second. Chance for the lead. Line drive, base hit, left field. Here comes Ty. He's going to score. Julio with an RBI. And the Mariners have a 2-1 lead. 3 consecutive hits by Seattle here in the third. Again, the 0-2. To right field. Veerling's right there. Julio tags. He'll score. Teoscar Hernandez gets the job done.
Baez delivers to right field. Green getting the wave home. The throw into second. Baez has brought the Tigers to within 1 with an RBI single here in the third.
22 punch-outs in 19 innings pitched.
Badu to left field. Haggerty on the move over his head. All the way to the fence. We're tied thanks to Akil Badu's clutch. 2-out, 1-run double. Did it hit him? It did. It's a Mother's Day gift. Sits him down, and the Tigers win it.
Mariners are on their way to Beantown. In fact, they're probably there as we speak. They got 3 games. The Red Sox first pitch today, 4:10 on Root Sports Northwest. West Valley wins the District 6 4A championship. Moses Lake earns the other state bid over the weekend in prep baseball. The Rams walked off against the Mavericks in the district championship Friday, 4-3. Eastmont stayed alive with a big victory over Davis. Then the Wildcats traveled to Larson Field on Saturday. Moses Lake ending their season with an 8-2 win. So Moses Lake will travel to Lacey Saturday for the first round of the state 4A tournament. They'll take on Olympia at 1 o'clock. Cashmere and Chelan advance into the state 1A tournament after wins against the Northeast A League on Saturday. The Bulldogs beating Moses Lake 4-1. The Goats beat Lakeside out of 9 Mile Falls. So Chelan will take on Kalawaya at Foss High School Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. Cashmere will play Cedar Park Christian at 10 o'clock on Saturday, where we don't know yet. Brewster is the District 6 2B champion. They topped Tonasket Saturday at Rick Park. The final was 10-0. So Brewster will host the first round of the state 2B tournament on Saturday. They'll play the winner of Ilwaco and Northwest Christian at 3 o'clock. Tonasket faces Riverview in the first round Saturday at noon. If they win, they'll play Tri-Cities Prep at 3. The site has yet to be announced. Riverside Christian is the District 6 1B champion. They beat Waterville Mansfield 14-4 for the Shockers. Their season comes to an end. In soccer, the Eastmont boys soccer season also came to an end on Saturday. In the consolation game, Davis scored a golden goal in overtime to advance the state with a 3-2 victory over the Wildcats. Wenatchee is a number 9 seed in the state 4A tournament. That means a road game Wednesday. The Panthers' first round opponent in Puyallup at Spark Stadium Wednesday night at 6:30. Cascade is the District 6 AB champion, and they upset Quincy in the title match Saturday at the Apple Bowl. Chelan knocked out Bridgeport in a penalty kick shootout, and Tonasket advances to the state tournament with a 2-1 win over Brewster. So in the AB, Tonasket will travel to Kings tomorrow for the first round of the state AB tournament at 6 p.m. Chelan takes on Cannell in the first round Wednesday night at 7. That'll be in Quincy. Cascade will take on Kingsway Christian Friday. The time and location we don't know yet. Quincy awaits the winner of Connell and Chelan in a first-round game Friday. Again, that time and location yet to be announced. Okanagan continued its winning ways in fast-pitch softball Saturday, 12-6 over Orrville in the District 6 2B semifinals. They'll take on Brewster for the championship tomorrow at 4:30. The Bears advancing with a win over Lake Roosevelt. The Hornets and Raiders play tomorrow at 5:30 at Lake Roosevelt. As far as the big schools, Eastmont and Moses Lake will share the regular season Big 9 title. They split their doubleheader on Friday. Mavericks won the opener. Wildcats took the nightcap. Wenatchee, by the way, swept Sunnyside Friday. Cashmere wrapped up the regular season Saturday with a sweep of OMAC. The District 6 4A tournament begins tomorrow. 2 play-in games. Wenatchee will host Sunnyside at 4. Eisenhower will be at West Valley. Eastmont will host the district championship Saturday against Moses Lake at 10 a.m. The Tuesday winners will also play at 10 a.m. with the winner of that game facing the loser of Eastmont and Moses Lake for a last chance at state. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this 15th day of May, I really had to dig deep for an obscure holiday. There was like 4 of them, and none of them really appealed to me a great deal, but we thought, what the hell? It's Independence Day in Paraguay. So there you go. There's the national flag of Paraguay. It's actually a 2-day celebration. They do it on the 14th and the 15th as they celebrate their independence from Spain. As soon as Spain colonized Paraguay, way back in the 16th century, the natives didn't like it very much, and it got worse and worse over the course of a couple hundred years. And finally, Paraguay got their independence from Spain May 14th, 1811. Fun facts about Paraguay. The literacy rate in this country, United States, is 86%. In Paraguay, the literacy rate is 95%. Paraguay has the largest navy of any landlocked country in the world. There are a couple of rivers that feed into the Atlantic Ocean, so they have a pretty big navy, Paraguay does. Dueling is legal in Paraguay, but both participants are required to be blood donors. I guess that makes sense. And despite a long history of poverty and political repression and military regimes, Paraguay in 2017, based on global polling data, was named the happiest country on earth. Happy birthday to our friends down south in Paraguay. Told you I was hurting for obscure holidays today. That's the state flag of Paraguay. When we go to Today in History, you're going to see the city flag of Las Vegas. Happy birthday, Las Vegas. 118 years ago today, May 15th, 1905, what would become Las Vegas is auctioned off, 110 acres, and they incorporated as Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas is home to more than half of the 20 largest hotels in the world. Some of the hotels in Las Vegas are massively huge. The famous Las Vegas Strip and that Welcome to Las Vegas sign is not actually in Las Vegas. It's in Paradise, Nevada, which is right next to Las Vegas, of course. 15% of the tourists who visit Las Vegas go to Las Vegas for one reason only, to gamble. 71% of tourists do some gambling. not exclusively, and the remaining 14% of tourists don't gamble at all. In Las Vegas, they go for the entertainment and the food. Las Vegas is the brightest spot on Earth when viewed from a satellite. I think we knew that. And Fred Smith, the founder and CEO of FedEx, saved his company from bankruptcy by going to Las Vegas with the last money he had and gambling. FedEx had a $24,000 fuel bill, and the company who wanted their $24,000 said, "Give us the money, Fred, and we're just going to take your company." So he took the last money that he had, about $4 grand, went to Las Vegas, and he won $27,000 playing blackjack. And then he paid off the $24,000 fuel bill, took the $3,000 back to Memphis, and kept his company alive. Happy birthday to Las Vegas. Happy birthday, McDonald's. That's the very first McDonald's. It's still there. It's been remodeled a few times. Dick and Maurice McDonald opened their very first McDonald's restaurant in San Bernardino, California. Last I checked, there were about 37,000 McDonald's worldwide. Happy birthday to McDonald's. And no, the hamburgers are no longer 15 cents. 82 years ago today, nobody knows it at the time, when you start a historic streak, nobody really knows anything about, the beginning of it doesn't mean anything. It's the ending that people think about. Joe DiMaggio's famous 56-game hitting streak began on this date. He went 1 for 4 against Eddie Smith of the White Sox. The Yankees lost 13-1, but nobody knew it at the time. But Joe's legendary hitting streak began on this date in 1941. And 2 historic television events on this date. Back in 1968, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were in New York City doing the press rounds and the junkets to talk about their brand new company, Apple Corps. Now, the story of Apple Corps is, in fact, not a very happy one. It kind of led to the breakup of the Beatles, among many other things. And they went on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. Only Johnny wasn't in that day. Joe Garagiola was the guest host. Johnny Carson probably really wished he'd gone to work that day. Paul McCartney later admitted that he was so stoned for those 3 days in New York, he barely remembered it. And if you see any of the videotapes and the transcripts, he's like out there. John Lennon did most of the talking. First thing Paul did when they went on the set is, "Where's Johnny?" He didn't even know that. The Beatles, or at least John and Paul, make their only appearance on The Tonight Show on this date in 1968. And 42 years ago today, all of America stopped what they were doing and gathered in front of their television sets to watch the all-time television classic, the Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island. I think everybody's seen it at least twice. Television history. Birthdays, let's do them. Richard Daley, the mayor of Chicago, and I mean the mayor of Chicago. He ran that city with an iron fist. From 1955 until his death in 1976, he ran the city for 21 years. Probably not one of the better mayors, but he got things done in Chicago. You got to give him that much. Born in the state in 1902, dropped dead of a heart attack in his office in 1976. The most famous amateur filmmaker ever, Abraham Zapruder, the Dallas dress manufacturer who took his Bell & Howell camera to Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963, and captured the assassination, the murder of John F. Kennedy. Abraham Zapruder was born in the state in 1905. And happy 70th birthday to one of the greatest third basemen ever. George Brett is 70. Mike Schmidt is the greatest third baseman ever, but I think George Brett's probably number 2 on that list. He's 70 years old today. And a great hitter and a Yankee killer. He always beat my Yankees, but I still like him anyway. 28 minutes after the hour, Mike McNally's got an opinion, and it is filing week. It's a big week for those folks who want to enter public service. City councils, school boards, all kinds of things are up for grabs, and this is the week where you go to your local auditor's office or go online and declare your candidacy. Thad Duvall, auditor of Douglas County, and Skip Moore, auditor of Chelan County, joins me next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control. The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
What's the best way to attract a wide variety of beautiful birds to your backyard? By offering the birds the right foods in expertly designed bird feeders from Wild Birds Unlimited. Whether you've been feeding the birds for a while or are just getting started, let our backyard bird feeding specialists show you how to add a little joy to your life and make nature a part of every day. Shop now for exclusive bird foods, feeders, hardware, and more. Wild Birds Unlimited. Products designed by experts. Trusted local advice.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently was talking to someone who let it be known that she was an anti-vaxxer. She rather smugly told me, I have an immune system. What the heck does that mean? Yeah, you won't get a flu shot? If you, God forbid, catch cancer, you're going to depend on your immune system to get you better. And if you step on a rusty nail, you're going to eschew a tetanus shot because your immune system will keep you from getting lockjaw? Look, I get it. If you don't want to get a COVID vaccine, fine. That's up to you. And I sincerely hope if you do contract COVID, your immune system will work better than it has for many, many folks who have died from that virus. I have an immune system. What, like the rest of us don't? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Welcome back to the program. Your local county auditor does any number of jobs with their great staff. We're talking about your marriage licenses and your automobile licenses, and they keep track of all the records and other things that are so mind-numbingly boring. Even these two guys don't want to talk about it. But elections, that's the sexy stuff. And of course, today opens filing week all over the state of Washington for almost entirely local offices. And here to talk about that and what you need to do if you are interested to throw your hat in the ring are two local auditors. To my immediate left, the handsome and debonair Skip Moore, and the even more handsome and more debonair Thad Duvall, his counterpart from Douglas County. Good to see you, gentlemen.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Thanks for taking time out. You guys just got back from Pullman. You had a 3-day little wing ding. All the 39 county auditors get together a couple times a year anyway, just to talk shop, right? Talk about issues and things like that. I take it went well.
It went well, and it's the big thing for us is we try to make sure that we're doing the same thing across the state. That's kind of important.
It is.
So that's for us to discuss that and see how we can get ahead of some of the trends that we may see occurring either in recording areas or elections or anything, so we can work together as a group. It's actually a pretty good group we try to solve a lot of problems so that for the citizens, they get pretty much the same look in every office when they go in. There's no, well, why is it different in Chelan than it is in Chelan County than it is in Douglas County? So it's a good meeting. We learn a lot, and that's the other thing. kind of war stories are told, and you learn the trends of, oh, somebody's beating the drum on a certain item.
Yeah.
At least you've got a heads up, as opposed to not knowing about it until they show up at your door.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You know.
And then the other thing is the legislature continually meets, as we're all aware. So that was just at the end of the session. And, so any new laws that are out there that we might have to implement, we're kicking that around as to how to best do that. So,
were there any laws enacted during the recently concluded session, with a special session coming up, that you guys landed on your radar that's going to change things at all?
well, there's a number of things that kind of tweak elections and voter registration and things like that, but I think one of the ones we're pleased about in terms of ballot real estate is they passed a law that would do away with the advisory votes because they were non-binding and they didn't make any difference in terms of whether a tax was passed or whether it's repealed. And we get a lot of questions about the advisory votes and how to understand the wording, and it was just took a lot of space on the ballot, and it was non-binding, so they voted to do away with those.
Yeah, which I'm all for that, quite frankly. My guess is this is an off-year election, and there are a gazillion local offices up for grabs, from some pretty high-profile stuff to stuff you probably never heard of, like cemetery districts and hospital districts and things like that. Yeah. From a manpower paperwork kind of standpoint, is this difficult for your offices this time of the year? I'll let you both answer that, because there's a lot out there.
It is a lot more complicated, especially as the ballot goes, because in Douglas County we've got 62 positions that are just within Douglas County and 30 or so more for a total of 98 that we'll have on our ballot. So that's a way more complicated ballot setup and then tracking all of those junior taxing districts that are coming up for election. It's a big job, and then you add the voters pamphlet to that, which is supposed to have a statement from all those candidates. Yes, it's a big job, and it's way more complicated in the odd year because of the sheer number of things we have to do.
Yeah, you have some school boards that overlap into, say, Grant County or up to Okanagan County, and fire districts and things like that. That's not just contained to Douglas County.
And we share a Chelan school district up there in upper Douglas County with Chelan County. So.
It is filing week, and I flipped a coin, and Thad won, so he gets to go first. We're going to spotlight just some of the higher profile positions that are up for election this year. We'll start with Douglas County. And East Wenatchee Mayor Jerry Crawford, of course, has already announced she's going to run for a second term. So you folks who live in the East Wenatchee city limits, those are the offices up for grabs, Thad. Now, we see city council positions 1, 2, 5, and 6. You got to live within those districts in order to run, correct, or not?
Well, in the school districts,
this is city council.
Excuse me. In the city council, I believe those are all at large.
All at large. That's why I wanted to make sure we had that, because it's a little different in the Wenatchee side of things. So take a look, folks. My trick need tells me, and you guys can both answer this, I think this is going to be. I think we're going to have a number of contested races. I went and looked at the last off-year elections from 4 years ago, and there was just not a lot of contested races at all. Something tells me this might be a little different this year, perhaps. Any thoughts on that?
It is possible. I don't know. I think the most I guess controversy we had last time was in the school districts, actually. Mm-hmm. But I had kind of heard some buzz about that during that time frame, and I'll have to be honest. We haven't heard much about the taxing districts and school districts and fire districts in the cities at this point. It's more in the partisan elections that we're hearing a lot of angst and concern now. So I haven't heard anything, but I guess we're going to know after filing week.
We're going to know after filing week, and even farther than that. In fact, we should point this out right now. Every office that you're going to see, all of them are nonpartisan with one exception. We'll get to that when we get to Skip.
So let me point one thing out that's going to be different between Chelan and Douglas County. Well, I don't know. Skip will have to answer this or not. A new law that was passed is going to make filing week hours the same all across the state. So right now in Douglas County, we're open from 8:30 to 4:30 for filing in person, from Monday through Friday. And online at this point is only available from 9 a.m. on Monday to 4 p.m. online. So if you're outside that time frame, you have to do it in person. And but the law next year will change everything to 8 to 5, is what I understand. And so Skip can speak to his hours, but ours are 8:30 to 4:30 and 9 to 4.
Very important point. I appreciate that. Eastmont School Board has 4 positions up for re-election this year, including an unexpired term. One of the school board members left, and somebody has stepped in, appointed by the board, and now they're, if they choose to, run for re-election. That's for the Eastmont School Board. It's seats 1, 2, 4, and 5, and again, 4 is an unexpired term that whoever wins has to fill that out. Let's go to some of the smaller races. If you can bring that up, please, Uriah. That's the Eastmont School Board ones I just mentioned as well. There's some of the smaller ones. Randy Agnew is up for Rock Island Mayor, and Rock Island has 4 city council seats up for grabs this year. That's a lot.
Yeah, and what happens usually we'll have 3 and 2, but if somebody resigns or someone's appointed in the interim period, then if that happens, then they have to go on an election at the next available election opportunity. So that's why you see that many up, is somebody must have resigned and somebody else is appointed, and now they have to run.
And that's going to be especially acute when we get to Leavenworth. That's a crazy thing. Can't forget about the port commissioners. Even though there's a consolidated port, they're still elected officials. So Douglas County Port Commissioner number 3. And Eastmont Parks and Rec, which we want to give those folks some love. They do some good work. But it's an elected board, and people need to remember that.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So those are some of the higher profile races in Douglas County. Again, there are others, 70 districts, fire districts, things like that, but I decided to save these guys some time. Off to Chelan County we go, and Wenatchee Mayor, my brother, who by the way did a great job, in my opinion, is not running for a 4th term. So Mike Poyer, Wenatchee City Councilman, has already announced his decision to run for mayor. Last time this was an open seat in 2011. I went back and looked. I think there was like 6 or 7 people were in the primary. It was whittled down to 2 for the general election. Again, my trick knee tells me there's going to be at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 people.
I think it will be, because nothing against your brother, but there's been a period of time that we've had the same mayor, and you see when there reaches a point where an incumbent, nobody runs against them, and then when they find out an incumbent's not going to seek the office again, people that have been chomping at the bit, let's say, or just standing in the wings waiting, get in the race. So I do think that we'll more than likely have a primary, because all of these offices, being nonpartisan, except for the one partisan office that we have this year, being nonpartisan, 3 or more have to file before there's a primary. So if only 2 people file for the office, it would be going straight to the November ballot. I think we'll see in some of these races with the shakeup, the case where an incumbent's not running again, that we may end up having some of these races as a primary ballot as well.
Unlike the city of East Wenatchee, and Wenatchee, outside of the at-large seat, which is currently being held by Linda Harold, the other ones that are up for election this year, Wenatchee City Council seats 1, 4, and 5, you have to live in those districts.
You have to live in that district, and you're voting in that district specifically for that individual, as opposed to in the past where if you lived in the city of Wenatchee, you voted for all of the city council members.
Right.
Now you're voting just for the ones that are representing your specific district, as well as the at-large. We also see that change now with the Wenatchee School District.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. While we're still on Wenatchee City Council, one quick thing. Wenatchee City Council seat number 5, District 5, and I don't know if it's, I think it is public knowledge. The man who's currently holding that seat is not running for re-election. So if you live in Wenatchee City Council 5, something to think about. And you can look up the maps, very easy to find.
Maps are on our website.
Yeah, so what district do I live in? It's very easy to find, or you can give Skip a call. Say, I live here, what district do I live in? That's no problem at all. And yeah, so Wenatchee City Council seat number 5 is not, I can't mention Mark Kouloss's name because I told him I wouldn't, but he's not running for re-election. And let's move on to the Wenatchee School Board. This one is going to get a lot of attention because they made some changes. Skip.
Well, they've made some changes. They took their terms, they adjusted their seats in that now they will vote by district, except for one at-large seat. So if you live in if you reside within the Wenatchee School District, you won't see the same thing on your ballot you had seen in the past. You will only see the name of the candidate for the district you reside in, as well as the at-large seat. So you'll only be voting for 2 of the possible 5. That's a big change for the voter. In the past, they voted for all those individuals, and simply the districts were more of position in the total or position on the board.
What is the thought process behind? I mean, all 5 seats for the Wenatchee School Board are now up for election this year, but the at-large, which means you can live anywhere in the district, is only a 2-year term. What's the theory behind that?
We worked with the city of Wenatchee. School board, right. The school board of Wenatchee, and when they restructured their entire process, we wanted to make sure that only 3 members of the board would be up for election at any cycle. Well, they've got 5 positions. So we conducted a lot draw to figure out which positions would be 2 and which would be 4 for this first cycle.
Gotcha.
So that way what we'll do is we've got the position number 1 as well as position number, or District 1, and at-large District 5. Those are 2-year terms.
Okay.
That will start the rotation because we're starting as if this district never existed as for the board members. Every seat's vacant as of, all the members will no longer be members December 31st. So we're voting a whole new board, and to get the proper rotation, 2 of them are 2 years, the other 3 are 4 years.
Makes sense to me. Some of the smaller municipalities, again, are up for grabs. Cashmere Mayor, Chelan Mayor, as we throw that up. 2 seats on the Cashmere City Council. 4 seats on the Chelan City Council. As Thad mentioned, they did have some turnover during their term, and so now they have some unexpired terms. But the big one is Leavenworth, because they have 2 unexpired terms.
Right.
So there is actually 5 seats on the Leavenworth City Council and the Leavenworth Mayor all up for election this year.
So yes, it's just the way the cycle works out at times, especially with resignations from office and then appointments. You could get the situation where, normally you'd only have 3. In this case, we've got 5. Throw in the mayors. It's going to be a lot going on in the city of Leavenworth, that's for certain.
And let's give the other school districts a little bit of love. Cascade School District has a couple of seats up for grabs, and the Cashmere School District has 3 seats up for grabs as well. All politics is local, said Tip O'Neill, and I've grown up in this business long enough to know that's true. The decisions, the day-to-day decisions that government officials make, elected officials make, have far more impact in your day-to-day life than the state or federal level. I mean, I'm a true believer in that.
Certainly. These local elections, these are the people that are deciding what your water rates are, how much you're going to pay for garbage removal, how your kids or your children are educated in school. These are school board members. So all these offices really are right down to the grassroots of democracy, and that's kind of the idea behind it. That's why in Washington State we have so many voted positions in some of these districts where we go, cemetery districts. One would have thought, oh, really? But that was, the founders of this state wanted as much in the hands of the people to vote for. So that's why you see all these offices, because they are the ones, and the nice thing is, they're your neighbors. They live where they're legislating, so it's important to get that representative local on your school board, on the city council, for your cemetery district. All of those is very important.
The odds of you of bumping into Governor Inslee at the local Fred Meyer are pretty weak, but bumping into Thad at the local Fred Meyer is a distinct possibility. This is what we're talking in that sense. That's what we're talking about.
And that's what it's about. Yes.
Dan, I'd like to make another point because you talk about it's all local in relation to that. A lot of the taxing decisions are also local. We fund all of these junior taxing districts with property taxes and things like that, and the levy rates and the bonds that are put out there by the school districts and the fire districts and all the other districts, and those are voted on locally by our citizens here. So they make direct decisions through the ballot on the tax rate that they pay.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention there is one partisan office up for grabs. Dina Walter leaving the assessor's office to become the full-time community development director. Thank you very much. And so this, her job, which is a partisan office, is now up for grabs this year. The rest of her term needs to be filled out by somebody. That's the one partisan seat, and the assessor's office is an important job, just down the stairs and down the hall from you, my friend.
Sure, that's just one. That's another part of the several elected officials in the county government. But yes, they're responsible for appraising your property. So they're more or less are determining they'll tell you they're not determining their tax rate. They're just saying what your property is worth, and that ultimately determines what your tax is going to be. But so that's important, and you have to have somebody that's doing a good job at that, and you want somebody that again, that's why we elect them, is somebody to be responsible to the public directly, and not somebody that just is a bureaucrat in government, as it were.
So filing period, again, begins today, Monday. It ends at the close of business on Friday. As Thad just mentioned, it depends county on county. As far as Thad already told his hours at his courthouse in Waterville. For people who are going to file in person at your office.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday. This whole week will be 9 to 5.
Obvious question, with all of these offices up for grabs, the scenario is either the incumbent, for whatever it is, decides not to run and nobody files for that position, so will technically become open when it's how does that work if nobody files for a particular job?
If at 5 o'clock, or in Thad's case, 4:30, your office closes. Yep. If at that point no one has filed for an office, we go into a 3-day special filing period to see if somebody decides afterward, after the fact, to file for office. And that 3-day period follows the normal filing period. But what's unique about that is anybody that files in a 3-day filing period, there's no primary, even if you had 5 people file. And it's one of those twists in the law. So if we theoretically would not have a primary for a race at the end of the normal filing, 3-day filing period, let's say 4 people threw the hat in the ring suddenly. Now, because of the way the rules are around filing week, those go straight to the general election. There would be no primary to winnow down the field. So you could end up with 4 people on the general ballot running for a position, which is unique to our process because we pretty much always work through primary, get it down to 2, then the general election.
Decisions are made by people who show up. Thad, we'll go with you first. Douglas County, I want to run for this seat, and I'm a registered voter, number 1. You can't run for any of these offices unless you're a registered voter. And if you want to run for any of the offices that are open, the 98 or so in Douglas County, that again, some overlap into other jurisdictions. Thad, what do the Douglas County folks who want to throw their hat in the ring need to do? We'll let you go first.
Well, they have the opportunity to either file online, which once again for the whole state, you can file online from 9 a.m. on Monday through 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. That's a little different, so I just want to let everybody know that if you're going to wait to the last minute to file online, you've got to be done by 4 o'clock on Friday. Okay. And they need to, and they can get the information from us, or they can do it online. They can file in person. We get more and more people filing online because a lot of people don't want to drive clear up to Waterville to file in person. But so I think more and more. I don't know if it's the same in Chelan.
It is.
More and more people are filing online. So that's what they need to do. They need to make the decision, file. Sometimes there's a filing fee, and sometimes it just depends on if there's a salary that goes with the position, 1%. So anyway. That's what they've got to do.
Simple as that. And when you file online, and I'll let you both answer this question, how does the affidavit thing work? You have to sign an affidavit that says you were legally qualified to serve in the position that you were seeking. How does an affidavit work when you file online?
Well, first of all, let me point out that when you file online, you're hooked up to the state system.
Okay, there you go.
And the state system does some cross-checking there. And so it can tell if you're a registered voter or not when you file, and if you live in the district, if those boundaries are set in what we call our vote law system. So there's kind of a sifting there that kind of pre-qualifies you, and then from our end, we can then, once the filing comes in, we have the responsibility to okay it in the back end, do that final check to make sure the person is registered and lives in the district. So,
Skip, anything different what Thad told us in Chelan County?
No, that works, and that's the key. If you're going through the online portal, in the back end, people are already sorted. So if you live in Wenatchee and you try to click on City of Leavenworth position, it won't even let you do it. Won't even be an option because it's looking at based upon your precinct. You're not in Leavenworth. We're not going to let you file for a Leavenworth position. So the system weeds that out. We double check to ensure that there isn't some sort of mistake in it. But pretty much the big thing on this is for folks. I say it often. It's most of these offices. The only requirement to be in one of these offices is a registered voter and a willingness to serve. That's the end of it. You live in the jurisdiction, you're a registered voter, that's the qualifications.
And you guys, a couple more questions. I got to cut you loose. This interview's running way too long. I just love talking to these guys. You guys, there's no state where you guys are kind of on your own, right? You don't get a lot of help from the Secretary of State from Olympia when it comes to these elections, right? You're kind of.
This election will be in the normally. When I say normally, any year that the Secretary or the state would be a better term. Any year the state has a issue on the ballot, the state is apportioned some of the cost of that election, based upon what they have on the ballot. Right now, it looks there won't be any state issues, especially in the primary. There may be some in November. But if we have a primary, no, that'll be borne entirely by the taxpayers of the respective counties.
For being on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I got you each an I voted sticker. So there you go. One for you, Skip. One for you, Thad. There you go.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
On August 1st, you can use those.
I will.
Every time I go to Skip's office, I grab a handful of them. So.
That sounds good.
Every once in a while, I wear them like in a Tuesday in December, and they go, did I miss an election? Is something going on? I probably shouldn't do that. Any questions at all? And we've talked about this before. We are very fortunate here in North Central Washington. We have two of the very best auditors you're going to find anywhere, and the best staffs to be found anywhere. You make a call, there's no dumb question. If you're not sure, give these guys a call. Their offices, they've got great people, and they know what they're doing, which is a nice thing to have.
It is. It's wonderful, and we want people to be involved. This is important. We've all bemoaned the fact that sometimes we see races and they're not a race.
Yeah.
Single filer. So involvement's great.
And one parting shot for all these positions, please give us a candidate statement.
Please, oh yes.
So that it gives the voters the opportunity to read about the candidates, because now that we're required by law to do a voter's pamphlet for every election, including these odd year elections, it's a little discouraging to put that thing out there and have half of it blank, and then we get calls saying, well, how do I find out about this person? And please give us your candidate statement so that we can have a nice voter's pamphlet as a tool for our voters.
All right, it is filing week, and we'll keep a close eye. We'll be on your website. I'll be hitting refresh quite often over the next 5 days, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good filing week.
Thank you.
Always is.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said that before. If you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we'll be right back.
The Lake Chelan Rotary Club invites you to experience Cycle Chelan, held June 24th, 2023. Pick your thrill from 4 rides: the Metric Century Challenge, Cycle Divino, the Lake Loop, or the Butte Blast. All profits from Cycle Chelan are used to support student scholarships and other charitable activities of the Lake Chelan Rotary Club. Cycle Chelan 2023, a route for every rider. Pick your thrill today.
The newest generation of GMC Sierra pickups offer the most advanced technology, the strongest selection of powertrain, and everything else you need to work hard, play hard, and explore the boundaries of the Wenatchee Valley and beyond. Take a look at the latest, most luxurious and durable trucks on the market.
You will see why GMC is not your grandfather's pickup.
You want to bet, kid?
Ever wonder how wine gets from grape to glass? Chelan Ridge Winery is one of the largest wine production facilities in the valley and is now offering tours from grape to glass. Come on up and see how platinum level wines are made and then taste them for yourself.
Behind this door is one of Wenatchee's best kept secrets. Behind this door, you'll find things you can't find anywhere else. Behind this door is the new upgraded River House Cigar Bar. More of everything you come to love. The secret's out and the door is open.
Outside of a few clouds, it's fairly sunny here in the big city, 64 degrees. 2 locations in our viewing area are already at 70, Ellensburg and Ephrata have hit the 70-degree mark. Everybody is going to be getting pretty close to record high temperatures almost this entire week. This kind of heat wave this time of the year is rare. In fact, it's extraordinarily rare with, again, record-breaking high temperatures is a distinct possibility. And on top of that,